USB-NES Lite Firmware Update Guide. With firmware version 0.75, USB-NES now plays Alwa's Awakening, Mother 25th Anniversary, Kira Kira Star Night DX, Maxivision 15-in-1, and the Data East Collection, as well as a whole lot of classics. This video is a short guide demonstrating how to do a complete USB-NES firmware upgrade to support additional NES board sets on your unit to play more games. Note that if your unit disconnects from the host system when certain types of NES carts are inserted, your unit will likely need the hardware upgrade to play these games. Please see the hardware upgrade guide for more info, link in description. The first thing you want to do is head over to usbnes.com and go into the firmware upgrade section. From here, scroll down to the kernel upgrade section and click on the kernel update tool link. The kernel upgrade is only necessary if you don't already have the latest one on the job list here. Please see the kernel upgrade guide for more info. Click on Browse, navigate to the USB-NES drive, and select security.bin. Make sure the latest kernel version from the drop-down list is selected, and click Upload. A download link will shortly appear after this under the Browse button. Right-click on the link and save it to the USB-NES drive. It will ask you if you want to overwrite the file, say yes. Be sure not to have any cartridges plugged into USB-NES during the file transfer. The green light on the console will blink for about 8 seconds while the firmware file is being updated. The unit should have the newest kernel version now. If this upgrade doesn't work in Linux for your unit, you may have the oldest kernel version and need to temporarily use a Windows PC to do the kernel upgrade here. Now we need to install the application firmware. At the top of the page, there is a link to that, so let's check it out. This lands us on a page that looks nearly identical to the previous kernel update. For the application firmware update, apply the exact same steps used for the aforementioned kernel update to load the firmware.bin file onto USB-NES, being sure that the latest firmware application version from the drop-down list is selected. Next, we need to install the bus conflict mapper table into USB-NES. From the firmware upgrades page, find the detailed write-up for USB-NES Lite version 0.70 and click on the bcmtable.bin link. Open the file with an archive manager and drag and drop the bcmtable.bin file onto the USB-NES drive. If the file copy is successful, you should see the green light blink after the file copy. Finally, we need to copy a default override.txt file onto the unit. To do this, scroll down to the override.txt link in the same paragraph as before and right-click on it. Choose Save Link As. Navigate to the USB-NES drive and press Save. If the file copy is successful, you should see the green light blink on the console after the file copy. As a final compatibility note for emulation, you will likely need FCEUX and Nestopia emulators or other types to run Mapper's 268 games, as well as Alwa's Awakening, respectively, because these newer Mapper types are not as well supported as the classic ones. And that's about it. shift your bits with USB-NES.